If you're looking for a Roland Juno, or as I like to call now, J-style synthesizer for your iOS device, your phone, your iPad, your desktop, there's now a couple different options. I wanted to make a video showing you how they differ, how they're similar, what's good about them. I'm not really a this is bad kind of person, so I like to try to find ways to use everything. So I'm really just going to highlight the differences and show you the features, the compatibilities, and help you make a decision for yourself. For this video, I'm using an iPad Mini 6 as my iPad of choice because it's the one that I have. I am using a Magic Mouse on my screen for demonstrative purposes, though I usually use an Apple Pencil. And if you're doing anything music related on an iPad, I highly recommend getting an Apple Pencil. I have my Novation Launch Key 49 Mark IV plugged in via USB-C, so I have that down here. But I do typically just use the Launch Key 25. It does fantastic with the iPad Mini. Let's just go in order of cost, because I think that is going to make the most sense. We're going to start with the free option, which is the AudioKit Synth One J6. It is just a fantastic synthesizer. I'll get that pulled up here. Synth One J6 is a free synthesizer, but you do have the option to donate a little bit of money to the developer if you should so choose, and I highly recommend doing that whenever you have the opportunity, especially when something is offered for free. Here at Field Tone Audio, I offer a lot of stuff for free, and it always makes me happy and makes me feel supported when people choose to pay for something they could have otherwise gotten for free. So if you feel so inclined, definitely shoot a couple dollars the dev's way. Matthew is a very hardworking developer and has put out some incredible stuff for iOS. And I highly recommend, like I said, supporting developers like that whenever you have an opportunity. So this is J6 in standalone mode. Let's just play the first init right here, the stock preset right out of the box, or right off the App Store. There's no boxes anymore. Great. Sounds awesome. Sounds like a Juno. There's a sub option on here. You can drag the sub around. Sounds fantastic. Set the envelope here. Just the typical settings for what you might find in a synthesizer. What you might notice, though, about the J6 is that a fair few amount of things are in menus. So you're going to have to click around and go through and change all these menus. Clicking once will change the panel on the top. Once you've chosen that top panel, clicking on that again will change what's on the bottom panel. So you will have to do a decent amount of just clicking around. You got the Juno chorus here, of course. Chorus 1, chorus 2. A little bit more warble on that chorus, or you can stack them both. Then there's a reverb. I love the effects in this app. Some really fun ones, like the reverb. Then you can add a saw, you can change the number of voices. There's a bit crush mode. Bit crush sounds awesome. If you do have something like an LFO setup, it'll show you a little graphic of what the LFO is doing. So if I increase the rate, you can see that moving more, which that's a really cool feature. being able to see exactly what it's doing. So yeah, that's interesting. Love that feature about that. Up here in the top right, there is a randomize feature, but the randomize in this just brings up a random preset. So pretty fun for just exploring what's inside the app. And there are a bunch of presets, a lot of them designed by YouTubers and people around the community, the synthesizer community. So you might recognize some of these names. Just some really interesting sound design in this. Some other cool things too are there's a step sequencer, so we can turn this on. You can change the number of steps. So that's the step sequencer. Then of course you also have an arpeggiator if you want to play with that, if I can get to that. This is what I mean. It's a little menu divey. Yeah. This is fun. I mean, for a free app, it's absolutely wonderful. I think it's hard to find anything to be too upset about with a free app. There is machine learned detuning in this. So any Juno that like has just natural drift, the way Matthew programs the apps, that kind of stuff is like built in. You can control that, which is really cool. That's this like retro tuning here. So you can hear a little bit of that detune in there. Not only are there Roland Juno oscillators that were modeled for this app, but there are also Jupiter oscillators in this. So there's no Jupiter app for iOS yet. If someone wants to hop on that, go for it. But there are Jupiter oscillators in J6. So you can kind of get to that Jupiter sound if you use this app. Hopefully someday there will be a Jupiter app. That'd be really cool. The reverb is kind of modeled after Valhalla. I mean, like I said, for a free app, just all this stuff included in here is amazing. Yeah, I think just for a free app based on the Juno 6, it's so much fun. I could have so much fun with this. All right, let's check out the next one. Next, we have June, which is the latest app from AudioThing. AudioThing is one of my personal favorite developers of iOS apps and desktop stuff. So June is actually also available for desktop if you want to buy that. It's available right now for an introductory price of $39. So as of posting this video, I think this app came out yesterday. So it's available for $39. Then the iOS version is $12.99. And AudioThing and most developers run pretty consistent sales. So you'll probably be able to grab it for less than $12.99 eventually. But if you want to grab it now, or you want to grab it when it's full price, it'll be $12.99. So here is June. As you can see, June is mostly just one panel. Hidden down here in the bottom left are some extras. So you have some octave transpose. There's an age knob. You can do some stuff with the mod wheel here. There's a voice control. You can switch it to mono down here. Turn legato on and off. Polyphony, max voices. The unison. Some additional chorus controls. And then down here in the bottom tab are the effects. So you have a tape echo, an overdrive, a phaser, and a spring reverb all built in. Other than that, everything is on this one panel right here, so pretty easy to navigate. Echo's fun. It does self-oscillate. I have a longer video up on this of more of a sound exploration. Not really talking about too many of the features in that video, but just kind of seeing what it sounds like. I'll put a link to that in the description if you want to check that out. Something that I really appreciate about AudioThing is the randomize feature of their apps. So where the J6 randomize just pulled up a random preset, the AudioThing apps randomize will randomize every parameter. So every time you hit it, you're going to get something completely different that you have never heard before. It might be unusable, like that. Not particularly musical. Or you may run into some cool stuff like I had. Here's one that I got to earlier today. I think this patch is just so cool. So I saved that one. That was one that I stumbled on through Randomize. This one's in mono, so we can turn that off. Oh, and it's got the ARP on. I think June is really easy to use. For $12.99, it being an AudioThing app, whenever I see AudioThing, I trust them immediately. I know they make good stuff. I know it's quality. I know it's going to sound good. I have somewhat of an expectation for the features of the app. And I'm just, yeah, this is exactly what I hoped it was going to be from them for a Juno app. The effects are cool because you can change around the order. So if you want to send overdrive into echo, into phaser, into reverb, you can. If you want to start with reverb and distort the reverb tail, you can do that. Get some really interesting results that way. A bunch of really good factory presets in here too. Got some good bass presets. But then I just always go back to that randomize. I could play with the randomize forever, honestly. You just have the single oscillator over here, the one DCO. And then you got a sub. Yeah, this is nuts. I'm saving that. For $12.99, and you'll probably be able to get it cheaper eventually. I think it's just a fantastic app. You can grab it on desktop if you want, but I am happy just having all my AudioThing stuff on my AudioThing. Let's check out the third and final option. It is the most expensive of the three as well. It is the TAL-U-NO-LX. What I really appreciate about the TAL app is that everything is just on this one page. There's no menus, no extra tabs, unless you want to do, you know, a couple things like changing the wave of the LFO. It's just a little drop-down menu for that. Aside from that, like changing the MIDI channel stuff there, everything is on this one panel, which I really appreciate. You have a couple effects down here. You got your unison. Oh, we're set on ultra deep bass. Here's just the init patch. So you got your unison, voices, detune, the width. You got a delay over here. And then you have a reverb. You can sync it to the project time. So that's nice. For me, just looking at the app itself from here, everything being on one panel, it looks premium. You know, it looks like somebody just took a Roland Juno and put it in a piece of software, which I think is ideal. You know, you got your chorus. It's been pretty standard with everything that we've looked at so far. You have some fantastic presets in here. You have like the actual Juno presets from the machine itself. This is just a wonderful app. So this app is the regular price for this app is $29.99, so $30. Clearly the more premium of the three, obviously the most expensive of the three. It does occasionally go on sale for it can be knocked down to about $20. I think it's worth it at full price if you're looking for a Roland Juno emulator. It's also the only one of the three with MPE support. So if you have like a Raleigh Seaboard or the Osmos or anything that has like aftertouch or like the wiggly features, this will respond to those. So you can use those keyboards with this and have some extra functionality, which I think plays into the higher price. You know, you're paying for some more functionality of the app. It makes sense that it would cost a little bit more. If you have an MPE keyboard and that is important to you when deciding on a Roland Juno app, then this being the only one of the three that will support that hardware definitely kind of points you in this direction, I think. Got the ARP on here. This one's just wonderful, and I could play with this forever. I'll do my wrap up in a second. I think this is the most authentic recreation of a Juno. For me, there's a clear winner. Having now done all of these three side by side, I would like to hear your opinion in the comments on which one you think is the best. Obviously, you know, you have your free option with the J6. You have your middle tier option with the AudioThing June at $13, and then you have the TAL-U-NO-LX at $30, which is the most expensive of the three. For me, I now having put all of these side by side, I think this one is the best of the three. It's been around the longest. You know, you're paying $30, so of the three, it's the most premium. It looks great. The presets are fantastic. It's got that MPE support. I think if I had to pick one out of the three, and you know, $30 is not a lot of money, but for some people, it is a lot of money in the grand scheme of music production software. $30 is not a whole lot. So I think I would go with this of the three. Again, though, that is not to say that any of them are a bad option. They all have their things that they're good at. You can't knock a free option. It's free. So there's literally nothing to complain about. AudioThing and their features, specifically the Randomize, which is I'll always go back to that. The universal parameter randomization versus the preset randomization of the J6. I'd rather have it just randomize everything and I can save the patches that I land on than just have it pull up a random patch. That's more enjoyable for me. The effects on the J6 and the Juno are a lot of fun to play with, but the TAL, it just looks like the panel of a Juno put into my iPad. Like they didn't add anything, they didn't take anything away, they just remade a Juno and put it into software. Yeah, I had never put them all side by side like this until this video, and to me this one is just like the best option if you're going for that authentic Juno sound. If that's not what you're after, we we get to be able to pick between these three fantastic choices at three different price points, each with its own unique feature set, but still largely authentic to that Juno sound. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. If you have $25 to $30 to spend, I would grab the TAL. Do we call it TAL? Is it? I don't know. If you are just looking to spend somewhere around $15, you can get the Juno, and that's fantastic, and that has its own rich features. And then, of course, you have the free option with the Synth One J6. So I don't think you can go wrong with any of them, personally. And if you are fortunate to be able to have all of them, then even better. If you had to pick one, I'd go with the TAL, but you can at least get the TAL and the J6 because the J6 is free. There is no loser. We are winners because we get to have this. If I was forced to pick one, because everybody always says, well, which one would you pick? I gave you my answer there with the TAL, but they are all fantastic, all unique in their own ways, all entirely musical and usable. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope that you were able to learn something and get some good info about these Roland Juno apps that are available for iOS. Now we just need to get somebody to make a profit and make a Jupiter, and I think we'll be golden. Talk to you soon.